set myself so many challenges over the years, always pushing myself to try to find the limit. I don't think this is it. I'm just breaking. I keep moving. Where to begin? This is the story of how All Points North 2024 went for me. If you're already subscribed, thanks a lot for coming back. And if you're not already, my name's Andy. I'm an ultra cyclist on the south coast of England, and I make videos about ultra cycling training, kit, and adventures. So subscribe for more videos like this. If you don't know All Points North already, it's a self-supported ultra bike race in the north of England. It starts in Sheffield, and you hit 10 checkpoints in some of the most beautiful landscape England has to offer as fast as possible, and then get back to Sheffield. My route this time was almost 1,000 kilometers long and about 45,000 feet of climbing, something like that. I completed the race last year, no problems. This time didn't quite go how I hoped it would. You're going to see a man go from full of excitement, hopes and dreams to basically broken by the end. But don't feel too sorry for me. As of today, it's 6 days since I scratched. And honestly, it's been one of the most positive experiences I've had on a bike. Probably mostly because of all of the comments and messages I've had from you guys, subscribers, so supportive. I don't know what I've done to be so lucky to have such a nice bunch of people following this journey. But at the start, I was pretty depressed about the whole thing. Hour by hour, day by day, feeling pretty good now. So hopefully it gives you good insight into ultra bike racing and how these things often pan out. If you have any questions throughout, put them in the comments. All the while I can still keep up, I reply to every comment. So stick them in there. Let's get comfy. Hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you all soon. Hello. Mine. Alright, registered, ready to go. I'm registered, the bike's checked, it's safe to ride, so all systems go. I'm just gonna go find myself a nice pizza, some savoury food, might have a nap. I've bumped into a few people I know so far. Alex from Germany, Andy Blades, I'm sure there'll be others. There's just a mixture of people, some quite chatty, some really not chatty, just in the zone, in that limbo time, a few hours from the race start, and all hell breaks loose. Picked up some pork pies, some covered for savoury food too. I'm good to go. I've got memories of last year, leaving Sheffield, and every junction you get to, bikes fly from every direction, people choosing different routes, different ways out the city. It's really fun, so I'm going to enjoy that. The routes have to stay secret. You can't share your route, you can't make it public, because some lazy git will just steal it, and you need to find your own way. So I'll put my route up, you can see it now. It's just under 1,000 kilometers and about 40,000 feet of climbing. So, quite a job on my hands, but actually, it's pretty much the same numbers as last year. And last year went fine. I struggled for the last 24 hours or so. Just dragged my butt across the line very slowly. And I learnt a lot after that. So, pacing it and fueling well, I'm hoping I can keep the same pace all the way through. But let's see. Everyone has a plan until you get punched in the nose. And in other sad news, the pizza place is closed. So we're all the way down this hill. For pork pies, I'm not even going to eat yet. I'll go back out shortly and get a nice pizza.
Well, we give you a range to take the sleep in, really. Really, we just don't want you riding continuously for like 48 hours without any sleep. That's what it is.
I want to give a first nod to bikes, because bikes are amazing. You know, when I was a kid, they really are. Like, they were fun.
Well done.
That's so much fun. It's my favourite part of the whole race. Bikes going in every direction through Sheffield. So funny. I just watched about 10 bikes go straight and I turn left. And this climb is about 3 miles long. 10%. So I'm not sure who made an error there. I think it could be me. Pretty sure the mast that I can see, I think that's checkpoint 1. Pretty sure everyone's gone straight to Elmley Moor. Generally on these things, there's a route that makes sense to everybody, and Elmley Moor is probably the first checkpoint. Anyway, that was a great start. Quite energetic, but not too bad. At the moment, I'm watching people go past me, passing a few people, but trying to keep a lid on the heart rate and trust the heart rate. Let's see what happens. It's really nice at the start to meet some people that watch the videos. So if you're watching this, then nice to meet you all. Some I know already, Dan Bannister, Steve. Met a few new people and a couple on the road afterwards. I think one was called Ian, Damien, sorry if I got your names wrong, guys. And Esther at the start. So hope you all have a good race. Oh, so far so good. How good is that dynamo light? Really happy with that. Fully getting into nighttime riding now. No sunlight for quite a few hours now. And to be honest, this time of year, it's not too bad. It's not as good as July, but before we know it, the sun will be up. The obvious direct route to the next checkpoint, it's quite hilly. I managed to find a diversion from here. We are 33 miles in, so I think at this point, my alternate route kicks in. And looking at the rookies, almost all of them went the obvious route. One person went the route I planned, and shot ahead of everybody else. So it'll be interesting to see of the rest, the 72-hour guys, if anybody else did the same thing. But let's see. Midnight, well into the diversion now. I haven't seen anybody for a really long time. It's times like now you wonder, did you make a horrible mistake or take a really good detour? Really hope it's the latter. I saw one guy a while ago, but it's been a couple of hours now since detouring and I've basically been on my own. Quite nice though, not very rural, all roads like this, but who knows. I'm kind of flying blind. The tracking by this point is not very clear. I don't even watch it. It's not very much point. So for all I know, there's a peloton up the road somewhere. Or maybe I might be overtaking them. I'll find out soon. No idea if you can see me at all. That's checkpoint 2 done. Cross a greet. Now heading on to the Lake District. Watch out for the sheep. Whoa, whoa, don't you dare, don't you dare. These guys are notorious for taking people out. Well, okay. It is 20 past 2 in the morning. 83 miles. Feeling pretty good, pacing it quite well. Quite a few people at this checkpoint, so still quite a few people around me. Pretty much to be expected. I don't expect anything to kind of blow apart for people till tomorrow, really. Everyone will be about the same sort of pace. But then it's just, who's blown their doors off? Hopefully not me. Oh. Right. Probably not going to be a whole lot to see for a few hours, so I'm going to get my head down, get through the night, and I'll see you lovely lot in the morning. The sun is just starting to rise. It's not even 4 AM yet. It'll make such a difference. Even just a small amount of sun gives you such a second wind. It makes a huge difference to mood. Should be probably still another hour or two until the sun actually comes up, but that really helps. Hit 100 miles in now. 100 miles, 4 AM, so what's that, 8 hours? It's not too bad, but done a lot of elevation too. And another climb. Ooh. Good morning, kind of. Not really there yet. Just having a bit of an internal battle to stay awake. I definitely don't feel like I can't go on, but at this point, riding all through the night, 1-2 hours before sunrise is notoriously the hardest part. If you've done it before, you probably know what I mean. If you haven't, then yeah, get ready for that. It's definitely doable. And I can carry on, but there's a negotiation happening. And I think I'm teetering. If I happen to see somewhere perfect, might get half an hour. I've been looking for somewhere for about the last hour. Chances are I'll carry on. As soon as the sun comes up, I'll be fine. But that's probably still an hour or so away yet. It's now 4:23. So maybe even longer. Cross your fingers. Lost about I'm gonna get my bivvy out and have half an hour. A power nap should sort me out. I realise I slept here once before, in my car. I did the Fred Whitten years ago. I parked in this car park, slept here and then rode the Fred Whitten. Small world. That'll do nicely. Tucked away in the car park. Set a timer on my phone. Get half an hour. And then I'll probably lose an hour. But hopefully I'm more productive tomorrow. Today. Good night. That was only half an hour, but I think that'll help. Now the hard part. Climbing out of this warm sleeping bag. Good morning. On the road again. Laying there. I did hear a couple of free hubs. So, short term, it's not really ideal. But longer term, I feel pretty good now. Lost about an hour. But last year, this was about the point the wheels really came off. After riding all through the night, pushing a bit as well. There were a few of us in the Lake District, stopped at a shop, just wrecked. And after that, didn't really recover that well. Myself and Dan Bannister, I mentioned earlier, both of us, that was the case for. Fingers crossed, maybe this will make a difference. I feel pretty good now, so let's go find some coffee. To be honest with you, it's feeling pretty good. And now I'm not getting any power out of my legs whatsoever. Completely zero in the legs. So just stop for some coffee and some food. Fingers crossed that helps, but it won't last forever. Rolling into the Lake District now, so hopefully soon some energy back in my legs. It's gorgeous out here though. Beautiful sunrise. I seem to have my mojo back, I think. See how that goes. I'm currently riding around Lake Windermere, which has to be one of the most amazing places in the world, let alone England. It's one of the best things about riding these races. You see more in 2 days than a lot of British people would see ever. I'm getting some views now right into the mountains, and it's looking pretty angry in there. Can't see it from here, otherwise I'll show you, but it looks like a lot of rain. Fingers crossed it's gone by the time I get there. I think this route choice was a bit out there. I'm not convinced it's the quickest. On the way to Keswick from Grasmere, 138 miles. Not necessarily quickest, but man is it stunning. No regrets. I think you could take the A591 all the way through and possibly might be faster, I'm not sure. Sometimes you just got to trust the route you made. I spent quite a lot of time on it. I'm not complaining. Well, now I'm riding the 591, and to be honest, this isn't exactly flat either. Probably alright then. A lot busier though. Pretty sure we're climbing Newlands Pass now. Almost the end of this section and quite a long climb, so I think this is Newlands. I just stopped by the road, had a little wet wipe, chamois cream. It's really frustrating having to stop. But the things that you just have to do. I'm seeing people now that maybe didn't sleep and they're probably about an hour ahead of me now, so really hope I don't regret sleeping now. If you didn't know any better, you'd think you were in New Zealand or somewhere. I've ridden this pass before, but a long time ago. It's spectacular. Welcome to andyc ultra walking. No shame in it. I wouldn't be riding any faster than this. Oh, so that was Buttermere, checkpoint 3 of 10. Done that in, well, it's 154 miles for me, 12,600 feet climbing, and now climb back over Newlands Pass again. I saw signs for 25%, that's great. Over Newlands, out of the Lake District, across into the Pennines, and then up the highest paved road in England. Nightmare. You alright? Oh man, there's Newlands Pass both ways. That checkpoint is a nightmare. There's no way to get to it other than this pass or Honister Pass. And Honister Pass is worse. It's beautiful though, but god damn that hurt. I'm glad that's over. This event doesn't have bad roads, but it has roads that they advise you aren't very nice. That was one of them. I rode it last year though, and sketchy, but it's quite fast. So I decided to go for it. I think if you ride this event, just do what you think is safe. And now I need to try to find some water. I can see Great Dun Fell, and we're not that far away, maybe like 7-8 miles to the climb. You probably can't see it on this lens, but up on that hill there's a little white observatory. I need water before I go up there. I'm out. That looks like fun, doesn't it? At least this will be the last big climb, I think. There's a lot of elevation left, but this is the last of the really bad stuff. Let's get it done. I feel sick. Not only is it the highest paved road in England, I think it's a brutal climb. I think it's like 25%. Water isn't going to get much fresher than this. Why not? That's good. Final little push now. It's an amazing view up here, but after all that work, just like, cool. Once I get up there, I'm sure I'll be a lot happier. This is a proper hard climb. If you've ridden Hard Knot Pass, that sort of thing, in my opinion, this is way harder. Way harder. Gotta do it once. I don't know if I'll come back. Made it! That was a 10 out of 10 climb. Absolutely brutal. I'm enjoying the view now I'm up here, but I'm looking forward to getting back down again. I think this, from the way I've stacked the elevation, is the last of the really bad climbing. Maybe one or two stiff ones, but generally lots of rolling terrain now. I think I'm about a third of the way around the whole course, and about half the elevation done, so front loaded quite a lot of the elevation, which is good. So now just need to roll down this descent that'll destroy my brakes, hopefully, hitting any sheep, and then on to get through the Pennines. Really, I want to be through the Pennines before the weather takes a dodgy turn, because a bit later on it's supposed to be raining. Possibly thunderstorms. I really hope it's not, but let's see. The Pennines is a really bad place to get stuck in that kind of weather, so let's get on. pretty cold descent. And I think I might have cooked my rotors. They look a little bit discoloured now, but oh well. I've just headed into the North Pennines. I'm just climbing over into Alston, which there's some resupply options. The climb is 5 miles long. 5 miles at 5%. So my legs are starting to really suffer now. I can't get a whole lot of power out of them. But I think it's probably not having carbs in the bottles. That seems to really help. So go resupply. I talk to you all while I've got a bit more energy. I'm feeling slightly better now. I've eaten some food and had some caffeine. Slightly better. I was just riding with a guy briefly as we passed each other in the same boat as me. And energy wise, I'm better now. Don't know how long for. But every incline is just killing me, and he was in the same boat. I think there's no way to hit these checkpoints without burying yourself. So by this point, getting the North Pennines out of the way and Great Dun Fell, my legs are toast. I do know, generally once I get a few hours sleep, I'm much better the next day, so that'll happen. I've just got to get through to the sleep. Checkpoint 5, Rock Hope Arch. And that was quite cold, to be honest. Pretty sure now, I think I'm still in the Pennines, so I'm pretty sure we're just descending out of the Pennines now into Northumberland, I think, and then up to the Scottish border. And that's going to be a big push. Not so much elevation this time. I think by the time we get there, I'll be about halfway miles wise, a little bit more, and about 2/3 elevation done. So I'll be ready for some sleep by then. I can't sleep until midnight. The mandatory rest periods start at midnight tonight, so if I sleep before that, I've got to sleep after midnight anyway. So let's go to Scotland. It's getting pretty cold now. I think it's time to deploy the winter gloves. Wasn't sure if I'd need these, but pretty glad I got them now. My hands are starting to get a bit weak from being too cold. So let's put these bad boys on. I might not be on for a little bit. There's not going to be a whole lot to see, I don't think. Me getting wet and probably getting dark. So I'll pick up with you shortly. There's quite a big gap in the footage at this point. After I layered up the previous night, it quite quickly got pretty dark and mostly uneventful, except for the huge amounts of rain, if you count that. I rode for several hours north, aiming for a town called Rothbury. I had an eye on that, thinking there's probably going to be places to sleep there. On the way there, the heavens opened, and I got absolutely soaked. I think if I jumped in the lake, I'd probably be drier. So by the time I reached Rothbury, I walked around for about an hour, trying to find somewhere to sleep. Really didn't have a lot of luck, but eventually found somewhere behind a doctor's surgery underneath a raised floor. So just had to settle down, climb into my sleeping bag, wet and cold, sleep for 4 hours and try to recover. Good morning. slept a little bit as well. My alarm went off and it was just pouring like really hard. So what is there to do but to crack on? I'm gonna get dressed. I think what I'm gonna do, we're given an emergency foil blanket by the organisers. I think I'm gonna tear some strips off, wrap my feet, wrap my knees, so at least they'll be warm, because it's gonna be raining all day. Not even halfway through the ride yet. Not a lot of elevation left, but still, I'm going to be riding all the way through, sleeping again tonight, and then riding to Sheffield tomorrow now. So all in all, it's been a lot slower than I planned. The prospect of riding all day, all the way through to sleeping again, 18, 20 hours or whatever. Right now, it's not sounding very fun. But let's get wrapped up, get moving. Today's breakfast. The steak bake I've been carrying around in my back pocket by my buck rack all day yesterday. That should get me going. Right, I'm ready to go. Can you guess where I slept last night? I bought these gloves just in case it got really cold in the night, so they should come in pretty handy. Nothing to it but to do it. Let's go. Well, this is pretty much going as expected. Absolutely soaked through, freezing cold. Not that far into the day either. Just going up the last climb on my Garmin before I get to Union Chain Bridge. But I think I've got a little way still, I'm not really sure. I feel like almost halfway. The fact I've got this, if not worse, all day is daunting, to say the least. I've never failed a challenge I set myself. This one is looking like a pretty big ask right now. But just keep turning the pedals. Hopefully you can see me. Starting to really doubt this now. My gloves and shoes are waterlogged. My arms and legs numb. Bike is basically a one by now. Can't really push very hard. Just past 300 miles. And 25,000 feet climbing, so almost an Everest. And what I think has done this really is the rain is not good, really suffering. The elevation I kind of expected, I planned the route. There's so many climbs that were just 15, 20, 25% and up constantly. It's just ruined me, and now the rain is killing me. I'm not far from the Scottish border, and honestly I'm really having doubts. I think I'm going to head there, get that control done, start heading south, and then I'm not feeling good about this. I've set myself so many challenges over the years. Always pushing myself to try to find the limit. I don't think this is it, but this is hard. those gravel races overseas in the hot sun looking more and more appealing. Oh, this is a great event. The north of England is beautiful. If you get poor weather like this, it's just combined with a tough route, I'm just breaking. Keep moving. Oh God. Oh, fell down a big hole then. Christ. Road is not rideable. I remember roads like this last year near to the borders. I think tractors just destroy them. I got through several quite big puddles, bigger than puddles, but one, I tried to walk across it. It was so deep that my derailleur was underwater, so that's not really ideal. Got halfway across, bushes pushed me right into the water. I couldn't get through, there's just no way. And the thing is, I have no idea how long this road is or how bad it gets. So if I walk through that water and get through somehow, it could go on and on. So I'm going back. I came off of a main road, the road I was getting a bit emotional on. I'm gonna go back there and try and figure out where I am. I did look on my Garmin, touchscreen isn't working, so I can't see where I am or how far that road goes, but I'm hoping there's a sign out here maybe that will tell me what towns I'm near to and try and find a bypass. Well, this is the end of the road. It feels a bit weird. Never quit. But I know you shouldn't be afraid to fail, but I don't like to fail. I can't get my screen to work on my Garmin, so I can't find a bypass. And on top of that, I'm a bit nervous about doing this all day, and then who knows where, gone midnight, I'll be climbing into a bivy bag. I'm gonna have like hypothermia or something. Because I feel pretty bad already. I've just managed to get back out onto the main road that I came in on. I'm heading south now, so that sucks. But this goes to Newcastle and Morpeth first, so I'm gonna head there and try and find a Costa or something and figure out what to do now. What a nightmare. We are back in sunny Sheffield. What a whirlwind the last couple of days have been. There wasn't a whole lot really to film, to be honest. After deciding to scratch, I headed south straight for Morpeth, the closest big town I could see from the Scottish borders. At the point I decided to throw in the towel, I was in a really remote part of the Scottish borders, so that took about 2 hours to ride south to Morpeth, and all I could do was sit, eat a cooked breakfast and think about what I'd done. Booked my train to Newcastle, some accommodation in Newcastle, and then a train the following day to get back to Sheffield. Slight issue: when I went to get on the train in Morpeth to get to Newcastle, they wouldn't let me on. Don't accept bikes. I had to then ride from Morpeth to Newcastle, which was another couple of hours, so not ideal. Got drenched again on the way to Newcastle and straight to the hotel. I'll be honest, I've not really reflected on it completely fully yet. The fog hasn't really lifted yet, but there's some positives I'm realising already from this, although I'm not very pleased with the result. But I'm going to give it some more time, reflect on it fully, and go over the benefits and the drawbacks of throwing in the towel on an event like this. What I can say at this point, feeling pretty satisfied with what I did get through. It was a really tough course. Great Dun Fell was unbelievably difficult, and that came a couple hundred miles in after some pretty savage climbing already. At least I managed to tick off a lot of the more beautiful areas in the first half. Right now I'm really close to where the finish should have been for me, so I'm going to roll over, hand in my tracker and go clap some people in as they arrive. So let's go over to the finish and round this one off. It's not a bad view up here, is it?
Yeah.
Hi.